All right, fractional equations and overlapping triangles. So go ahead and write this down. And we've kind of talked about this with clearing fractions. It's very similar. All right, so you look at all your denominators. We've got a 4, a 3, and a 4. And you want to find the common denominator, or the smallest number they all divide into. So what is that? That is 12. And so I'm going to multiply this entire thing by 12. Or you can write a 12 next to every single one of these. Okay? Divide first, and then multiply. So first I do 4 into 12. So how many times does 4 go into 12? 3 times, and then I'm going to distribute the 3 to each of these numbers. So 3 times 2x is 6x, and 3 times 3 is 9. Minus. Okay, then I got to divide. So again, I'm multiplying this by a 12. Divide first. What's 12 divided by 3? That would be a 4. And then I'm going to multiply 4 times 4, which gives me a 16 right there. And then I'm going to multiply this guy by 12. Divide first. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then I'm going to multiply right here. 3 times 1 is 3. And then we just solve the equation. So 9 minus 16 is negative 7. And then we're going to add 7 over to the other side. And we're going to divide by 6, and of course reduce your fraction. All right, go ahead and write this one down. All right, so this 2 is really over 1. And Raina, what would be my common denominator? What should I multiply everything by? Good. And this time I'm going to put a 15 next to each piece. And when I say each piece, I mean separated by this plus sign or this equals sign. Okay? And I'm going to show you a little slower steps here on this one. But anyways, Blaze, what's 15 divided by 3? All right, so divide first, and I get a 5 times a 4x. And then I go to my next term, and Nikita, what's 15 divided by 5? 3. So I get a 3 here, and this 3 has to distribute to that whole thing. So I'm going to put parentheses, or you could go ahead and distribute it. And then over here I have 2 times 15. The divided by 1 doesn't really matter, so I'm going to go ahead and put 30. Okay, where most people mess up, and we didn't do an example, is if this was a negative sign, they forget to distribute it as a negative 3. So be really careful if there's a minus sign that you distribute it with the 3. This one doesn't have it though, so don't do that on this one. Okay, now let's go ahead and multiply this. So Tony, what do I get for this first term? Okay, and Giselle, what do I get when I distribute this?
21 minus 6x.
Yep. Okay, then we're just going to combine like terms. So 20x minus 6x is 14x. At the same time here, I'm going to subtract 21 from both sides. So that gives me 9. And I'm going to divide, and I get 9/14. All right, go ahead and draw these overlapping triangles. All right, if you wanted to draw these as 2 separate triangles, sometimes that helps people see the little one right here would be 2, 3, 4, right? That's this guy right here. And then if I draw the big one, this side is y. Raise your hand if you know what this side would be. Kaylin? Close. Ryan? There you go. 3 plus x. You got to take the sum of that whole side. And then raise your hand if you know what this whole side would be. Someone who I haven't called on yet? Mia? It would be 5. Okay. All right, good. So now I can actually just do proportional sides, just like we do on all of these. By the way, how do I know I have all congruent angles? This angle up top is the same angle, right? They share this angle, the little triangle and the big triangle. And then if I have two angles congruent, I also have this third angle congruent. So that means that this angle here is congruent to this angle here. They share this top angle, and so I can go ahead and mark it. And they share this angle right here, so I can mark it. And now I can do proportional segments. So start with the sides where you actually know the lengths of both sides. So raise your hand if you can tell me where we're going to start. Someone who hasn't participated yet. Arya? Good. 2 over 5. So I'm going to do this over this. And then let's say I want to find x. Then, Jaden, what do I set it equal to if I want to find x? Good. 3 over 3 plus x. And now I'm going to cross multiply. So I do this times this. And we're going to have to distribute it. Equals this times this. So that's 15. And go ahead and distribute that 6 plus 2x equals 15. And subtract 6 from both sides, that's a 9. And divide by 2, and I get a 9 over 2. All right, we're going to start the same thing over again with 2 over 5. But now I want to find y. And so, Ben, if I do 2 over 5, what should my other fraction be to find y? Good, 4 over y. Cross multiply, 2y equals 20. And divide by 2, we get 10. Okay, and then we'll go to whiteboards.